And welcome back to the show. My name is Anna Macco. I am your success coach. I help entrepreneurs and coaches figure out their marketing so that they can break either 100,000 in a year or get to 1 million in 2 years. Today, we have a special guest by the name of Rick Morgin, and he specializes in franchising. So without further ado, hi, Rick. Do you mind
Hey,
letting
Anna.
me?
I'm doing well on this Wednesday. It's a little brisk here in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's good to see you, and I'm honored to be a guest on your podcast, where I can talk about entrepreneurship, franchising, how it can lead to creation of wealth, financial freedom, etc. Any other topic that you want to bring up. I'm just happy to be here.
I'm really excited to have you because it's God, we sound like we rehearse this. No, I'm really happy to have you too because I've never touched the franchising world, and I totally thought that we had a little bit of a conversation about it last time, and I thought it was like this big monster that I never wanted to touch because it's such a big monster that it's even so inconceivable and not possible. And I didn't know that there were people that specialize in franchising. So, but I guess my first question is, how did you get into this?
Anna, I had no idea either. Let's go back to 2015. I didn't know anything about this industry or whether there were consultants to help people find that right franchise and educate them. But I was in my corporate life and was displaced, as you want to call it, and had to find a new one. And I went to a network meeting and met a person who left her finance career, got into franchising as a consultant, and that just led up, that degree of interest really just lit up. So after a couple of months of each side vetting each other, I made that leap from W-2 to 1099 to consult in the franchise world, in the space, and I've seen it just explode and evolve over these past almost 9 years.
What were you in before, prior to consulting?
I spent my career in beverage alcohol, wine, beer, spirits, non-alcohol as over this long career with different large companies in this space. I started off in the sales end where we managed our business through distributors, did marketing, and then the last 20 years, I would say it was in the finance area at both a regional and national level. And it just taught me about business, taught me about people. I had direct reports. I was very conscious of helping them in their career path. Since I was exposed to all facets of business, I felt I could, one, help people and teaching them about business, because not everybody's been exposed to a P&L or a marketing plan or customer acquisition and retention and all that. But they want to be first-time entrepreneurs. And franchising will tell you, well, the vast majority of the time, you don't need industry experience. They want your business skills, your business acumen.
What do you mean?
Well, somebody who can see the big picture of the market, understand the industry they're in, build a team, motivate that team, delegate, develop with the franchise company the marketing plan, the sales and marketing strategies, lead in execution, and then be the brand ambassador for their territory or territories, and draw people in. It's managing. It's managing instead of doing.
I guess you're right. I never looked at it that way. I'm constantly under the what is it?
Microscope?
No, I mean myself. Yeah, sure. No, what is it when the imposter syndrome? And so imposter syndrome, I think, is like the opposite of what you're saying. What you're saying is my imposter syndrome is like, no, that's not good enough. You need to do more.
Well, that can work in franchising too, because a lot of my clients and my colleagues' clients, they want to keep the job. They may be doing well. They may be in tech or healthcare or other industries, and it could be an exit strategy or a runway to develop a business and then leave it, versus just cutting the cord and jumping into the business. That happens too, but it's kind of that, what more can I do? The same type of imposter syndrome that you discussed. There's more for me to give, more for me to develop, more for me to do. If I want to retire early or have more fun or whatever, this may be a path, and I help with that path.
That's so funny. That's kind of like what my mom says. She's like, she gets frustrated and she's like, I don't understand people. You just make more money if you want to do more things. I'm like, you guys are a different animal.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's, that's the goal, but you got to fill in the steps to get there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to have fun doing it, enjoy doing it, and then create time for yourself. I mean, self-care is so important these days,
Yeah. I guess for those considering franchise, what are some initial steps that you would recommend?
Well, I hope this is effective, but whenever I've done a seminar or webinar, I always say, if there's one thing you take away from this seminar or webinar, is find a consultant that you trust to work with to help you navigate what's right for you. And your passion may not be the best business model for you and the way you want to fit in it to your life and your skills and your goals, but work with a consultant. Find one that you can trust. And I always say, hey, selfishly, I hope you work with me, but some people may want a local consultant, and then others may be introduced or find others that they feel comfortable with. But that's important, is finding somebody that will work with you from beginning to end, and even beyond after you become a franchisee. Because once you become under that franchise umbrella, they're handling you. But if you want to offer health benefits to your franchisees and their employees, and that's not part of the franchise system, I can connect people. If they need a business attorney or a local CPA, that's where I come in post, then becoming the franchisee for that territory.
Oh, I didn't even realize that there's a post.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I'm the connector, part of the educator. Once we introduce you, and once I introduce my clients to the franchise company, and it's like a 3-way conversation to help educate the client. The client gets to the end and says yes. They go under the franchise system to be trained to develop the business plan, the marketing strategies, and so on, and have that grand opening or launch or whatever. But that may not be everything they need. I had a client in Broward County ask for a local CPA. So I did my homework, went through my network, found her a local CPA. So that's those are the post services that are part of my total package.
So you're kind of like, I guess I didn't realize that. In my head, it was like you set up shop and then you let them grow. But you're saying you're kind of there every step of the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's not just the discovery process, getting them educated about the business model and comfortable, and it's post. Sometimes people don't need me, but I still keep in touch, because that continues a relationship and certainly can create referrals, right? Referrals are a big part of our business. Referrals keep each day interesting. Connecting with you keeps life interesting, today interesting. That's a part of this business, and just meeting so many different people that I thrive on.
How big? I mean, does the majority of your clientele come from referrals?
That's a good mix, but not all.
Okay.
No, not all. I used different resources from social media to networking, referrals, and things like that. So it's a mix of channels to try to intrigue and connect and get them into my sales funnel and help.
Got it. I was just curious from my marketing brain. I'm like, I wonder how it is, because franchising seems like such a, I don't know, it seems more intimate than even getting an attorney.
It's a small world. Yeah, I mean, it's a small world. I mean, as far as it's big, but it's small, because franchising contributes a significant amount to the U.S. economy and GDP, like 3 to 4%. It employs 1 million people or more. 800 to 900,000 units open. New franchises come on board into play all the time. Not they're not all the same. They're not all at a high level of success, but that's the part of becoming a franchise. I want to participate and see if I can grow to be a successful franchise. And a lot of things have to come into play for that new franchise to develop and grow.
So do you have any, like, I guess, success stories? People call them success stories, but I call them like Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like those kind of stories where it really impacted someone's life and it just changed the trajectory. Do you have any of those kinds of stories? Or success stories in general from your clients?
Oh, yes. I have a client who's been in business probably since 2019. Highly educated engineer, compassionate person. We got into home healthcare, and he's been running this home healthcare senior care business in the Atlanta area for at least 5 years now, and is doing really well. It was a compassion that led him to say, "Hey, I'm done with corporate." I have a client in South Florida there. I won't name names, but she built brands in the beauty industry, worked for the major beauty brands, and her husband got a job in Florida. They moved. Kind of the remote from New York City didn't quite work, so she left, and then we got her. We found the right culture and right framework for her to build a big business. It happened to be in the painting industry. Well, actually, we call it painting. Like buildings, commercial buildings, and big box stores, storage units, etc. Versace, buildings like that.
Oh wow! Okay.
And actually, we call it a technology company that happens to paint.
What? Why?
Well, the suite of technology allows her to manage the business from everywhere, and it got everything involved to keep track of this project with a big customer. Like if she bids out a Walmart project and gets it, it's a specific timeline and a specific budget that she has presented to Walmart, and they've accepted. So this technology allows them to do that, but to manage the project while executing the refurbishment or refreshment of the interior and the exterior.
That's so sick. So she's like gallivanting around the world, or can gallivant around the world, and she's able to take care of her business at the same time.
She could. She could. I think with her personality, when she lands a specific important job, that she wants to be there, though. But
yeah. But
I mean, with a team that she trusts, she could vacation and or go see family up in the East Coast or whatever, and still manage a business.
Or just grow. Yeah. That's amazing. Do you have any stories where people didn't use your services and they ended up having a more difficult time?
No, not really. I have stories of people who, they're really short stories.
I'm ready.
They're really, they didn't use my services, so when I went back to them, I said, no, we decided not to do anything, or we went in a different direction, bought an independent business, things like that. Or I have stories of connecting with franchise owners who had, before connecting, they didn't know they owned a franchise. But when through conversation, they said, how come I didn't meet you 4 years ago? Kind of indicating that they're maybe struggling a bit, but I didn't want to dig into it.
Why not?
Well, I didn't want to press. We talked about the business, maybe some surface issues, but not really press. And it's more like, hey, if you have these issues, if you haven't been talking to your franchise headquarters, that's your first stop. I had a referral who, when we connected, I was all excited. Oh, got a good referral, going to get this new client. Well, what they wanted was feedback from me on a franchise they were already investigating, and they had gotten as far as having the legal documents, the franchise disclosure document, and the franchise agreement, reviewed by an attorney, and he provided his red line marks. And they wanted my opinion on some of these concerns. And the first thing I saw was, wait a minute, this franchise hasn't trademarked. They haven't protected their brand. So what are you going to do if somebody takes that trademark before they do? They are not operating a protected territory. So they could put another location across the street. I mean, it's maybe unlikely, but so there was.
I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, I mean the subways, and used to do that. There were other issues that I said, these red flags are real. So they moved away from that one, and now we're working on our own match. So they become a client of mine. So it's not. I didn't say anything negative about the franchise. I just talked about the issues right in front of them and how that could impact the future if they went forward. And let's get you in front of somebody that has stability, a better system. They've protected their trademark. They really take care of you post opening and all that stuff. That's why they decided to work with. We decided to work together.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you just saved them. It's like being in danger and someone points out the danger and they're like, oh, I can point out more danger so that you avoid any chaos. Like, of course. I guess I always thought of franchise in regards to like Taco Bell's and McDonald's locations. What are some businesses that you could explain to us that aren't like that?
When I first started looking at franchising, that was my exact perspective. Fast food and retail. Well, and I've really seen it evolve over the years. There are of course long-time industries within franchising. It could be automotive and fitness and education. So new models evolve. They come up with better curriculum, technology, et cetera, just to stay ahead of the curve and capture the consumer. But lately, I mean, some of the more exciting ones are what I call Well, let's call it robotics and artificial intelligence. So, you've seen, maybe you've gone to a restaurant and a robot will bring you your food and take away your dishes.
Yeah.
Or you've been in a hotel where a robot is just constantly vacuuming.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we have a robotics and artificial intelligence franchise. So the local owner takes ownership of B2B sales of selling these robots to handle different services. And there's 5 different service lines. So that those employees that were doing it can be developed into higher value jobs. So the mission is not to replace jobs, it's to take people who don't want to vacuum a corridor of 25 floors of hotels every day, and they do something more meaningful.
Yeah.
Let the robot do it.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Let the robot cook.
Mm-hmm.
While the people can provide the best customer experience. That's what keeps people coming back. Even the food may not be, Michelin star or whatever it might be. Another one that is creative, and if people can get past the sadness or emotional impact, is a pet crematorium. Well, you think about it. Okay, think about it. The humanization of pets. They're part of the family. Cremation is common. Why not? People want that loved pet to remain with them for as long as they can. Don't bury the pet in the backyard. What if you move?
I'm 1,000% with you on both accounts. They actually had it at my family and I go to an Indian restaurant in Burbank in California when I come to visit. It's our favorite place. And they recently got a robot. But the employees seemed so much happier. Everyone was like relaxing for the most part, and you're not paying the robot, so that salary wage stays the same. And the guys that are the servers were so much more attentive, so much more like they're just like, hey, how are you? They gave us free things. They just had a lot more energy to be more, like you said, abundant with their care. But the cremation portion too is kind of genius, because there's more pet owners than we've ever had, and my generation of millennials are severe. There are children. We substituted children for pets, so it's wow. And I never talk about my animals passing away, because I look at me. I'm like, yeah.
I know they're gonna live as long as you are.
Thank you.
Everybody and every pet will expire at some point, and it happens. We have my wife's urn here. She passed away from cancer, but that's why we wanted to preserve her memory in this beautiful urn instead of burial. But it's a good business model. It serves a need. Customers will spend whatever money they want to, and it doesn't take a lot of employees to operate. So, and pretty soon we're going to launch an EV charging station franchise. So within a territory, a franchise owner can own these charging stations and buy electricity and sell it, make that margin. Receive grants to cover the installation costs wherever they can negotiate that.
Is that something that you help your clients with as well?
The franchise company will help them negotiate, and with a property owner, a big parking lot, a department store parking lot, stuff like that, so it's. That's part of their process of training how to get that agreement and get it done.
Oh, got it. Um, I guess, how was the franchise landscape evolved over the past few years? You talked about like what's really big, but is there a difference from when you first started to how it's going now?
Yeah. So there were a lot fewer franchises in health and wellness and medical. So I kind of they're two separate industries. Health and wellness dealing with weight loss, those prescription drugs, low testosterone, IV hydration,
Oh,
mental health. That was not in play when it first started, or very little. And so a lot have come into the space, and a lot more are coming into the space. Um, that is one huge explosion of the franchise industry that I've seen.
dang.
So, yeah.
That makes, I mean,
I,
it makes, go ahead.
I was just going to think the acceleration of those companies coming into the franchising came through, I think, through COVID, because the consciousness of something that could hurt people and shut down economies and life. Better you can take care of yourself. You can deal with those type of issues if they ever happen again, because your self-care, you've done it through whatever means, whether it's mentally or physically.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I did, it coincides with like the trend I've seen in marketing with the kind of customers looking for marketing. There's way more, like you said, mental health, medical's always been to a degree, but the mental health and the wellness has definitely exploded. You're right. I guess, go ahead.
Yes. Another franchise that has really come onto the scene in 2 years and sold over 200 units. It deals with art in a very personal way. And one of the results of this is dealing with mental health, individuals' mental health. You don't go there for mental health, but it provides this escape. And it's called Hawaii Fluid Art. And I think that's one of the most incredible franchises I've seen. So imagine 4 walls of about 2,000 square feet with a partition in the middle and an opening to go to the front and the back. In the front is an active art gallery. So you, Anna, would go to your community and talk to potters, jewelry makers, artists, artisans, candle makers, so on and so on. Say, hey, I want you to display here. I'm going to give you the space. You created the art. Well, we'll share in the revenue when we sell something. Consignment sales, Then in the back, and in the back is the art studio where you're teaching classes, and the mission is to attract anybody and you don't need any type of talent. So what you're and the backstory is the founder kind of came upon this by accident, was cleaning out these cups and actually spilled the paint in the cups that have different layers of paint on a canvas, and it came out great. She started posting on Facebook, look what I did. And then she ended up teaching 1,000 people in less than 6 months. So what she will say, this franchise started from a request from the public. Now, because of that success, and create the franchise model so that people can come in. Just think of, if I put these 10 colors in a cup, what's it going to look like? If I pour it onto the white canvas and spread it all over so that I cover it, what is it going to look like? Well, let's do it. I'm not copying something to try to recreate somebody who's showing me how to paint this portrait. This is my creation. This is my thought. And it's my escape from reality. And that has just really taken storm.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. I just texted a client this morning because she had her soft opening on. It was supposed to be November 2nd, so I asked her, how did it go? I don't know if she has responded yet, but so yeah, really. I went to their opening of their Dallas training center, 2023 sometime, and did it. It really is, it really is. The neat thing to do is it's a bit of an escape, and it was just a really enjoyable experience, and people love doing it. So those are some of the changes in franchising that I've seen come into play. There's another one that's in 3D scanning and 3D printing. That's really imaginative. So this booth comes to Miami. Anna goes, hey, I'm going to go check this out. And you go there and they convince you to purchase a high definition replica of yourself. So you go in and you strike a pose.
Yeah.
You go choose your pose. There are 95 high definition cameras, 8 high definition video cameras that capture 180 different photographs in seconds.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
And then it's sent off to the corporate to produce the 3D image of Anna, and you receive it in about 3 weeks, and you've got a memory. You've got a memory that will last a lifetime. So,
and that's booming too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
This is so fascinating. Sorry, there's a bunch of things that you've said, different industries or companies that you've described that I thought had I don't know, like the 3D printing. I remember when it came out, but I didn't really think that it took off just because I had no interest in it. So I never really knew.
Yeah. This combines 3D scanning and 3D printing. So you're scanning the image, sending it off to print to fulfill the customer. Many of these companies see the opportunity, but they can't be, everywhere at once. And it's more expensive to do it on their own than to find qualified, motivated financial partners, vested partners to operate and scale a business in a local territory. So that's why these robot company, Robot Labs, and Shrunk 3D franchised.
What about if someone is still working at their job and they want to create a franchise? What's obviously, other than making an appointment with you, what would be something that you would recommend for them, like budget-wise, thought-wise, before meeting with you?
Yeah, we cover budgets and time, types of businesses, types of people, their interest and ability to sales, and other things to kind of narrow it down. But the most important thing is to speak with franchise owners. So if you're trying to incorporate this into your job and your life, find out from franchise owners who have been in business for a year or less, 3 years, 5 years. Is it truly what we call semi-absentee? Are you able to devote 10, 15, 18 hours a week and still grow the business? Or has it taken over your job where you kind of have a difficulty managing? When you speak with franchise owners, you can ask those questions, you can find out. And the more you speak with, the more franchise owners you speak to, you're looking for this pattern of positive response or issues. If the patterns of issues, red flag. Maybe I don't want this one. Let's go look at another one where I can do both. A good example is a client in New Jersey. She owns waste management.
Mm-hmm.
company in northern New Jersey and southern Pennsylvania, or right across the border from, I forget if it's southern or eastern Pennsylvania.
Wait, I thought so. Waste management can be something that you open and own as well.
Yeah. I mean, waste management industry it's junk hauling and a concierge trash service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. I thought, oh yeah, because they always sent us a bill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But she was, working in social media companies in New York City, and doing both. And I think she finally got the business running well enough that she was able to focus 100% on growing the business.
Jesus, I got like chills. Sorry, that just like threw me through a loop. What are some long-term benefits of franchising versus starting an independent business?
Well, all right. You think of a business that has become a franchise, whether it's this year or 15 years ago. If they're still in the game and they want to stay in the game, they're going to be iterative, find ways to improve their business model, incorporate new technology, find ways to increase the client retention, whatever it might be, new marketing platforms, whatever. So by joining in with a franchise, you have the basic proven system. In the long haul, the franchise company is going to be on top of their industry, try to stay ahead of their competitors, maybe bring in new revenue streams, and then which allows you to bring it into your franchise and execute. Versus an independent, if you're going to start your own business, you're starting from ground zero and doing everything to get to a point where you launch your business. So when I plan to say, well, why can't I do this on my own? Well, hey, let's compare. Let's compare the time and cost it would take to start with this franchise system versus do it on your own. And if you want to do it on your own, be my guest. All the success for you. But if you want somebody who's worked out a lot of the mistakes and has the infrastructure to keep looking ahead, maybe the franchise system is best for you. I'm not going to make that decision for them, but I'll present the case to either side.
Yeah, but it seems like it would be faster financial freedom because you don't have to go through all the tests and trials and tribulations to get to a stable place.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I'm so excited. Maybe we'll open up a little pet cremation here in Miami.
that you probably have a huge business.
Yeah, let's see if there's any here. I want to check that. Pet in Miami.
See if Resting Rainbow comes up.
Let's see. I have. Let's expand. Go away. Van Orstel, Sunflower, St. Fort's, Landmark. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a little shocking. And that's not.
You know what that tells me? That there's demand.
I know. There's not even. They don't even have. That wasn't even pet cremation. That was just cremation.
Oh, cremation. Oh.
No. But I searched for pet cremation.
Oh, and they gave you general human cremation. Interesting.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's literally 4.
So search Resting Rainbow, Florida. See if any come up. Resting Rainbow, Florida.
Yeah, but that's in Pompano Beach. So that's why it's super far.
Yeah. But it again creates the opportunity for different parts of South Florida, West Florida.
Yeah, and oh my God, there's so many pets here. I knew of a guy that started a jacket reflection company. In the first 6 months, he made like 300,000. There's a huge demand here. Everyone has a pet. I just can't believe there's no pet. We'll talk later. This is cool. Now that I know that it's more, this makes it seem like it's way more feasible. And how do your I think you said that your fees were kind of like a real estate agent where they come from the process as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. My services to my clients, whether they want to find a franchise to own or build a franchise, are free. You know, it comes from the franchise company uh,
That's amazing.
that pays. So we get paid like a real estate broker. You know,
Right.
transactions happen. Yeah.
This is really cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna find out more and keep in contact with you because this seems like a really cool opportunity. And I always wanted to like franchise. Because I've always been in like it's like custom versus production. Production, you're gonna find customers everywhere. Custom is so much more time consuming and energy consuming to do.
True. True. I mean, there are not everything can be franchised, but a lot of things certainly a lot of things can.
But a
As
pet creation can. I sound terrible. Ugh. Why? Like, what happened to my emotional connection? It went out the window when I saw that there's no competition.
That's
Oh wow.
the business drive kicked in.
Yeah, it
Where
totally, it totally. I'm like a fat old businessman. I'm just like heartless and no emotion. God. Anyways, would you mind telling us your name, what you do, and how you help your clients one more time? And we'll be ready to close up.
Sure. Formally, I'm Richard. I go by Rick.
Mm-hmm.
My last name is Morgin.
Oh,
Morgin.
I'm so sorry. My apologies. Morgin.
Oh, that's okay. It's so common, you know, but it's Morgin. So just an I instead of an A. I am.
Where is that from?
It's an Americanized Croatian last name.
Ah, understood.
But I'm a partner and consultant with the franchise consulting company. I provide an end-to-end service to help people explore and find the right franchise that they can make the decision for themselves. And I work with business owners who have a demand outside of their local territory, and they're successful, and they've, of course, trademarked their business that we've talked about before. Expand by creating a franchise system separate from their core business, so they can create this national brand that will knock it out of the park. That's what I do. And love doing it.
One more question. How long have you been doing this?
Since 2015.
Okay, so you're seasoned.
Yeah. I'm one of the OGs with the franchise consulting company. The franchise consulting company, the leadership, had their whole careers within franchising, but felt they could do things better in this side of the table, and they did, and they have. The leader's a visionary, and so that's why I think we are the premier consulting company, with the number one premier consulting company. So if somebody's looking to own a franchise or develop a franchise out of their business, come talk to me.
I love it. And I have added your links to the stream, so it's in the description. If you guys want to find out more, if you're interested in creating your own franchise the way that I'm interested in creating a pet crematory in Miami, then contact Rick. Thank you so much. And go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you, what takes you to Burbank? Family, business?
Yeah, I'm originally from Burbank.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, well, sort of. I grew up in North Hollywood and Pacoima area. We moved to Burbank when I was like 10, and then I was there till I was 16 or 17, and then I moved to the South Bay in Manhattan Beach. And from Manhattan Beach until I was about 31, 32, then I moved to Coral Gables in Florida.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I started my working career working in Sherman Oaks, living in Van Nuys.
Ah, yes, the Valley. Oh, we're Valley
So,
people. There was
that's
calling me
funny.
a Valley girl. I don't know.
That's funny. We'll have to talk about Valley stories at some other
Oh,
time.
definitely. Well, and it's funny because you said Croatian, and I found, I don't know if it's, I believe it's true, at least in my experience, the people that tend to hold on to their, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, it's not just polite. They conduct themselves in a very old school traditional way, like very like, what is it when you're like not, when you don't like to engage in drama, but you're very stern with rules and you're very, yes, respectable, but there's
Respectable.
oh, European proper. It's like very European proper, and I've noticed that people that have Eastern European still very strong, I get along with the best because it's very, we're like polite and respectful at every time. There's no like weird, I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
No, I think so. And I think it comes from my mother's side too. So my mother's Japanese American and my father's Croatian American.
Oh,
So
yeah. And the
there's
Japanese are
an
very respectful.
intersection of respectfulness on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Wow, that makes, you're really respectful. They don't mess around.
Well, I don't want to be an asshole. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, anyways, but thank you so much for being on the show. Hopefully we'll have you back at a later time. And again, thank you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Let's